Viktor Frankl said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms. To choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way." This is Finding Human with Sue Jackson. Stay tuned for the next hour as Sue explores the human psyche, what makes us tick, and how to live better, more fulfilled and more meaningful lives. Only on 101.9 High FM.
Hello, this is Sue Jackson on the Finding Human program, and my guest today is Robyn Cowan, and I'm looking at her beautiful face, and it's wonderful to see you, Rob. Welcome to High FM. We're connecting through over the miles. Robyn's in Cape Town, and I'm in Johannesburg in the studio. How are you, Rob?
So well, and thank you so much for having me on your beautiful show.
Can't hear her. Hang on a sec. Okay, just say that again, Rob.
I said I'm really well, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, good.
It's lovely to see you, Sue.
Yeah, lovely to see you too. For a moment, I thought we were going to have to use sign language. Robyn and I met, we know when they say you met across a crowded room. Well, that's exactly what Rob and I did. It was actually at a wedding in the Drakensberg, and as I walked in, I felt there was a light coming towards me from the other side of the room. And I walked towards this light, and who was there but Robyn? And we have been connected ever since. We recognized that light in each other, and we have worked together. I have done many of Robyn's courses that she runs, and we have remained connected through all these years, haven't we, Rob?
Absolutely. I remember that day like it was yesterday, and meeting you at that event.
And I remember you also took us all outside as the sun was setting, and we were on the mountain, and you did the most beautiful mindful meditation. It was beautiful. Now, Robyn does, we've actually, our topic is Man Lives in Two Worlds by Carl Jung. And Carl Jung said that man lives in the two worlds, the outer world of reality and society, and the inner world of the psyche and the unconscious. The outer world is the visible reality, our physical environment, our daily tasks, and our social interactions, whereas the inner world is the hidden, infinite realm of dreams, thoughts, fantasies, and the collective unconscious. Robyn works with this collective unconscious, and she does healing energy from wherever she is. And Robyn has been interviewed a few times on various radio stations, and we're going to get back to that shortly.
This is Finding Human with Sue Jackson, only on 101.9 High FM.
Hello, this is Sue Jackson, and I'm back with Robyn Cowan, and we're talking about the energies that we have, and our visible energies and our internal energies. Now, Robyn, for 40 years, has been guided by one question: how can I serve? And Rob, tell me about this, because you've navigated your own emotional and health challenges. Tell me what brought you into this work?
Sure, that's a long story, Sue. However, my initial integration into the energy healing world was through my grandmother. We lived together, and she was a phenomenal healer, medium, channel, teacher, and that's what I grew up with. That's what I learned from my most informed years, was to read energy, see energy, and be able to channel energy into spaces and for people. So, yeah, the healing came from my gran.
And was she a healer, Rob?
Yeah, she was an incredible healer. I have letters still from 70, 80 years ago. I've got her letters from clients that have just sent messages of how she has saved them and the work that she did with them.
Isn't that wonderful? Wow.
She was profound.
And, you know, there are many times that we ask ourselves why we're feeling certain ways. And you talk about generational pain and the stories that we inherit. What do you mean by that?
So each of us is made up of patterns and threads and energy, whether you call them genetic or egoic or lineage. We all connected to our past. So as an example, where you sit, Sue, in your heart is this beautiful golden light, and from that golden light is a thread. There are threads going out, one to your mum and one to your dad. And then from your mum and dad are additional threads going on to their parents and their grandparents and great-grandparents, and expanding exponentially into our past, our lineage. It's the inheritance that we have received from our ancestors.
So some of that is positive and some of that is negative. How, when you're working with people, and you've worked with many, many hundreds of people, how do you go about healing that sort of energy that could be stuck?
So the first thing that we would do is turn to using the golden thread method, turn towards our parents, our grandparents, great-grandparents, look back to the ancestors and honor them. Honor them for their trials, their tribulations, the difficulties they encountered, the beauty and the blessings that they experienced, and really free of judgment, just purely coming from a place of unconditional love. Honor them for the experiences that they have been through, because if we're looking genetically, we are made up of them cellularly. Our cells are made up of them. Now imagine, go back in time to grandparents that were in the war, and then their children who are survivors of survivors. There's an emotional quotient that comes down through that thread, and we get to be in a place where we can proxy future generations. So once we have sent that thread of healing to the past and acknowledge them with compassion and love, we can transform those past patterns, whether they are negative or genetic miasms, negativity, pain, struggles, whatever they are, with honor. Release the cords, release the threads, fill those spaces with honor and love and light, and then turn towards the future generations so that we create a new pattern of threads for those to come, our children and their children.
So we've got a great responsibility in that. It's not to carry the wounds of the past into future generations. And sometimes we don't even recognize the wounds that we are carrying.
Absolutely. And the key here is that when we get caught up in our own lives with our own stresses and tensions and worries and fears and concerns, there's something called epigenetics, which is a gene thread that is dormant in a way. But when our frequency and our vibration lowers through our own stress and tension, we can then wake up through epigenetics and create miasms of dis-ease, which can manifest themselves in disease. So it's really important for us to work in present moment on what am I carrying, what can I let go of, how do I honor the past, and how do I create a beautiful future going forward in present moment time, so that every moment becomes part of that golden thread of light and the shadows are left behind.
That's so important.
Create health.
So important. You know, Rob, someone was saying to me the other day that they were sure that they would get Alzheimer's. And when I said, oh, why are you so sure? It was because her mother had Alzheimer's. And I asked, how did your mom cope with the Alzheimer's? Well, she said she had to actually cope for her mother because her mother became so angry and withdrawn from society, from the family, from everybody, that she took over almost living for her mother. And, that is exactly what you're saying. I mean, that's something that ties you in. When I said, why are you absolutely sure that that's your future? She couldn't answer that. She didn't even recognize that she had a choice in that. And so that's the awareness. How do you help people, especially because you're not always hands-on healing. You do a lot of distance healing as well. So if someone comes to you with something that they're really stuck with, how do you actually, how does this awareness, how do you get them to transform with awareness?
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example, Sue. In January, I was flown to America, to New York, to work with a family that were carrying generational threads of trauma. And as we went through each of those threads, we found that the parents, as children, were in the war in Ireland. And they had so many traumatic experiences and fear-based experiences. Now they have grown up, they've moved out of Ireland, they're now living in America. They have 3 beautiful girls, but they're carrying the same pattern of fear, of anxiety, and of pain. So we tapped into those threads, reformed them, pivoted them, and they have stepped into a new golden future without being able to release that trauma from their bodies. That's just one example in person.
That's absolutely amazing. We'll get back to that shortly.
This is Finding Human with Sue Jackson, only on 101.9 High FM.
Hello, I'm back with Robyn Cowan. If you'd like to send us any messages, if you yourself have had any experiences of psychic healing or any other sort of healing, please contact us on 061 895 1019. Hello, Rob. I'm back with you again. Now, that was Deepak Chopra and talking about how you can heal. I read the most fascinating thing about dolphins, and it says dolphins have been known to support injured members of their pod, helping them stay above water so they can breathe. Many people have been hurt and feel like they're drowning in a sea of emotions, being pulled under by the waves of confusion and doubt. While we can't always remove their burden, we can be there to support them and help them keep their head above water until they can catch their breath. That was inspired by Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks. Rob, that is what you do. You help people, you hold their heads above water until they can stop treading the water and feel firm ground underneath them. How do you do that, Rob? What is this energy that you're able to transmit across the miles?
Energy does not take up space or time. It's everywhere. There is no space or time connected. So even though you and I are in 2 different cities and we're talking across the waves, there is a frequency and a vibration that we can connect on and transmit and transmute energetically to each other. If you think about the friend of yours who has a fear of Alzheimer's, and you go into the fear that she has, you lower your vibration and your frequency. If she is focused on getting Alzheimer's, she in turn is lowering her own frequency. This is energy in experience. If she learns to pivot her attention to well-being, to present moment awareness, learning how to flush the fear and anxiety out of her body and bring health and wellness and well-being within a maximum of 3 months, Sue, her entire being can change. Cellularly, within 9 months, we have brand new bodies. Every 3 months, we have brand new organs. Every 2 days, we have brand new eyes. It's the consciousness that we hold. It's the fear that we hold that prevents us from regenerating cellularly. So as we shift our fear to trust and to belief and to knowing, we are able to then heal and transform ourselves. If you think about your grandchild in Israel right now, and your thoughts are loving and happy and joyful, energetically, he will receive that. But if your fear is around him being in Israel during a traumatic time, which many of us have family members living in war zones right now, we need to be able to flush that feeling out of our own bodies, center ourselves, turn down the dial on the noise that we're hearing from the outer world, and that enables us to tune into our own innate wisdom and send energy and thoughts and feelings that are uplifting and elevating. I don't know if that helps to answer your question.
It certainly does. It's a beautiful answer. Rob, this mindfulness that you talk about also is bringing, how do you find, are people open to the mindfulness concept, or do you feel that some people sort of think it's hocus pocus?
So I work with companies internationally. There's a company specifically in London that I work with their sales staff, with their the CEOs and the directors of their teams, teaching them how to be mindful in their present moment, how with that mindfulness to be able to separate home life and work life, and then again leave work behind so that they can go home with ease and not carry the weight and the burden. It's practical, grounded, present. There's nothing airy-fairy or ethereal about being mindful. If you're in this moment and you choose peace, but your internal is traumatized, ground yourself in peace. Go for a walk. This morning, I'll give you an example. This morning, I called my daughter down and I said to her, let's go for a walk, just breathe some sea air in. Let's ground ourselves in this present moment and let go of all the stress and worries and tensions that we both carry. And we did that. We stood by the ocean. It was a beautiful, misty morning. We could feel, see, sense the waves, the crashing, the sounds, the birds. It was mindful. That's all it was. Just mindfully bringing ourselves into present moment, and then came back to do this, have this chat with you, and then continue work afterwards. So it's simple little moments. Take your shoes off and walk barefoot on the grass at home if you don't have an ocean. Visualize, imagine, pretend that you're sitting by a still lake and just feel that lake of stillness inside you. Those are mindful experiences, but they're human. They're not ethereal.
You once told me to do a sea sand type of mindful meditation. I was feeling very stuck at the time, and you said, imagine that you're sitting on a beach and the waves are coming up. They're going over you and then they're washing out. And as they wash out and go back to meet the ocean, they're taking all the negativity, all the stuck thoughts, the feeling of being unwell, they're taking it back to the ocean where it's being cleansed, and then the next wave comes up and it's cleaner and it's better. And I often use that you once told me, Rob, and that must have been at least 25 years ago. It was beautiful.
It's a very powerful visualization, that using water. Water is, if you're looking at water, it represents emotion. So using water in visualization is very, very therapeutic. So the ocean waves, definitely, if you're using the lake of stillness, even now, just imagine you're sitting by this beautiful lake of stillness. We're not bombing on mountains. We're not zoning out. We want to be the best human beings that we can be. So open-eyed. You don't have to meditate to do this. But Sue, imagine that you're sitting by a lake of stillness. The water is like clear glass. You're feeling the warmth of the sun on your body. You feel present moment calm and ease. And all of a sudden you notice boulders being dropped into the center of your lake, and the ripples become waves. It's traumatizing. It creates anxiety. That could be other people's attitudes, their words, their actions, what's happening in another part of the world. Our job is to move that trauma out and come back to the stillness again. We're not here to change the world, but if we can, each of us personally, take responsibility not to add to the chaos, but to just reset and regulate ourselves, it will make a huge impact on
the world. Absolutely. And we certainly need that right now. Now, Rob, you have once before cleansed my house, but that was in person. I know that you do a lot of cleansing of houses, of offices, of stuck energy in places. You do it online. How do you do that, Rob? And is it very successful?
So I do travel often, Sue. In fact, I'll be in Johannesburg on Wednesday until the following Tuesday, where I'm coming there specifically to clear homes and offices. But there are many opportunities where people want me to clear for them, and they live in different cities. So, for example, I had 2 people in London a couple of months ago that wanted to clear their homes. And just like you and I are talking on Zoom now, we were on Zoom together. I gave them instructions on exactly what to buy, where to place the things, how to set the intention, and then I walked through room by room with them, sending the symbols, the healing, the prayers, the energy fields into those spaces. And at the end of it, it was beautiful, because they said, I feel so much better. You know, a simple thing, Sue, like just guiding someone to open their windows, clear out one drawer, just one. Don't try to clear the clutter in your whole home. Just choose one drawer, choose one piece of paper. And I'll guide them online we'll look at the clutter, and I'll guide them as to how they could start clearing it. I'll look at the placement of the furniture and show them where the feng shui is out, and maybe they need to move some furniture around. But it's just as easy online as it is in person.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you. If anyone would like to ask Rob any questions, please do so. Or if you've had experiences yourselves, it's 061 895 1019. You know, Rob, a few years ago, I was not well at all emotionally, and my kids were very worried about me, and they organized for me. I'd had a knee replacement as well, and they organized for me. You were, I think, in America at the time. You weren't here. And they organized for a healer to actually speak to me on the phone. Anyway, which he did, and then he said to me, I would like you to go outside. So I went outside, and you know our house, you know our big patio, and he said, I would like you to go and sit in a comfortable chair, which I did. And he said, is anything happening? I said, well, the strangest thing is happening. I said, I've got this flock of birds circling over my head. So he said, good heavens, he's often had dogs or cats coming and going around the person that he's working with, but never birds. So he said, well, you know, are they chaotic? Are they hectic? I said, actually, no. They're pretty calm. They were just sort of circling around my head. It was the weirdest thing. Anyway, he said, use that. Give them your energy. They've come to collect it. Give them whatever you want to give them, and bless them for being in your space, which is what I did do. When I told my children about that, my son Mark, as you know well, he said, well, all I can say, Mom, is that you were darn lucky that they didn't drop their load on you as part of the true cleansing. But it was an amazing feeling.
That's Mark.
Actually. Yeah, it is Mark. But it was an amazing feeling, to tell you the truth, Rob. It was this feeling of, thank you, birds, because once I actually released it to the birds, they flew off. And that was it. And they've never circled around my head again. That energy we take for granted, but we all have this energy field around ourselves, don't we?
You know, Sue, we are nature. We forget. We think we're only human, but we're not. We are as much a part of nature as those birds, as the animals, the fish, the birds, the trees. Everything in nature, we are a part of it. And it all works on vibration and frequency. And what happened with you is that higher vibration, imagine like the feeling of circling birds above you, to use as the image to release the trauma, is nature showing you that you are supported, you are held. There are ways of releasing and not having to sit with all the pain yourself. So I love it when nature shows up like that. It could be in the form of a butterfly flitting around. It could be in dogs that come and just sit on your lap. They don't want to leave you alone, or a cat that just comes and rubs itself along your legs. These are not random. Energetically, we become magnetic attractions, and especially animals. You know, there are so many stories around animals that are phenomenal. May I share one?
Yes, please.
I don't want to give the exact story because everyone I see and everything I do is highly confidential. However, turning the story slightly so as not to give it away, there was one of my clients who was suffering with a really, really traumatic event in her life, had a puppy, and the puppy took on the illness, the disease. The puppy did die, but every ounce of that illness left her body. It's almost like it took everything, the loyalty and unconditional love that comes from our animals. It's just an energetic reset. It's a connection that I don't know if we could ever truly understand. The deeper we recognize that we too are nature, the closer to nature we become, and the more in alignment with this healing from the universe we are able to tap into.
You know, Rob, that's so interesting, because I was reading a story the other day, and it was about people who were in the bomb shelters in Tel Aviv. And there were two young autistic children who had the care dogs. They were given, what are they called? The service dogs. Yeah. And of course, these children couldn't go into the bomb shelters without their dogs. Well, they actually wanted to do a survey on how these dogs had helped people. I didn't ever follow it up, so I don't know where to even look for it. But the other people in the bomb shelter who had come in and they were angry, they were fearful, they were trying to discipline their children. Some of the children had gone a bit OCD-ish, or should I say hyperactive. And these dogs seemed to pick up what was happening to these crowds. And they started going around. It was big crowds, you know, in Tel Aviv. When they opened the bomb shelters, they're not just for the houses, it was for streets. And these dogs started going to each person and kind of just centering them. And apparently the entire energy came to an end, and everyone started chatting. They began to laugh. They began to care about each other. The children calmed down, and the dogs obviously had absorbed quite a lot of this energy, because I asked, well, what happened to the dogs? The dogs went to sleep. I was very pleased to hear that they were at least resting after the saving. We'll get back to that shortly.
This is Finding Human with Sue Jackson, only on 101.9 High FM.
Hello, this is Sue Jackson, and I'm back with Robyn Cowan, and we're talking about energy healing. And right now you're going to be listening to an audio clip by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Practice this every single day, he says.
If you close your eyes and you place your attention on your heart, by paying attention to your heart, you're actually giving it your energy. Now do something really cool. Amplify. That's the amplifier. What do you want to feel? Like, what emotion do you want to feel when a future experience happens? Whatever that is. Feel the gratitude, feel the joy, feel the freedom, and breathe and feel and breathe, and keep relaxing into your heart, keeping your attention nowhere else out of the millions of things you can put your attention on. That's your target. There'll come a moment where that energy will naturally start moving up to the brain. And when that happens, the survival centers shut down. Brain moves into alpha. You see more in pictures and images. The heart sends this propagating wave right into the brain, telling the brain to be creative, to dream, to be unlimited. The more you do it, the more it becomes a skill. We tend to be more present and appreciative when we're truly in this state.
This is Finding Human with Sue Jackson, only on 101.9 High FM.
Hello, this is Sue Jackson, and I'm back with Robyn Cowan. Any messages, if you want to send anything, please do so. I do have one here which asks, please ask Robyn how she can heal somebody who's suffering from a chronic illness. What would you do?
So we are all our own healers. I never claim to heal anyone. I can hold up a mirror for their potential. I can guide them to tap into exactly what Joe Dispenza was talking about, heart coherence. Instead of the noise in the head, the pain in the body, go to that still, silent, sacred space in our hearts. Breathe into that space and practice that heart coherence. And as you're doing that, visualize the perfect life that you want to live, the way you would love your body to feel. Visualize light and energy coming in and flushing. It's a beautiful technique, a flushing technique, which I'm very happy to share with people online now, if you'd like.
Yes, please.
The key is that when somebody is suffering with chronic illness, they are struggling, they are in pain, and everything begins with compassion. And the first person they need to have compassion for is themselves. Compassion for their energy, compassion for their hearts, compassion for their cells, compassion for their thoughts and their fears. And when we tap into that compassionate space within the heart and find coherence within the energy of the heart, we then begin to learn ways of maybe not always removing the malady totally, but finding ways that are compassionate and calming and soothing to the central nervous system. So we move out of flares and ups and downs and fight or flight mode. We get into just a still, silent, present moment awareness with love and with self-love and compassion and care. So the technique that I would use with a client who is suffering from any kind of pain, or whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, is to visualize this beautiful light in whatever color they feel comfortable with, coming down from the universe, flowing in through the top of their heads and slowly, gently moving down their bodies, bringing health and calm and compassion and wellness and healing and harmony into their bodies, and feeling as though as the body fills with their light, the smoky feeling, the blackness, whatever you want to call it, which is the stress, the trauma, the illness, the dis-ease, moving down their bodies, all the way down, out their feet, into the earth and away from them, as they bring more and more light and healing into their bodies. And it's a technique I call flushing. We need to flush our bodies. Otherwise, we leave toxins, toxic thoughts, toxic emotions, toxic energy inside. So just through this flushing technique, we're able in this moment to feel a little ease. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Just in this particular moment, choose to flush and bring something of a higher quality energy in. And that is how we all need to live our lives, Sue, from each step, each moment, making that count, because our future is made up of our now.
Absolutely.
Every now is our future.
I love the way you say that, because what you're saying is that we have the responsibility ourselves to flush out whatever we need to flush out, whatever needs to be flushed out. So you're not taking the responsibility on for yourself. You are actually handing the responsibility over to the client and saying, what do you want to let go of? How are you going to? What do you want to flush out? How are you going to let it go? Is it going to be absorbed into the earth? How are you letting it go? So you're saying that we each have a responsibility, and we each have a choice to flow with life.
We have innate wisdom within us, Sue. We are all our own healers. So absolutely, I would never say I am a healer. I'm a catalyst, I'm a mirror. I can help you tap into, get in touch with that wounded child that sits inside, gather her up or him up, hold them, love them, bring them home to your heart, get heart coherence. So we are, in essence, allowing our adult to lead and not our child. But I would never, ever say that I can do this for you. I can guide you to do it for yourself.
And in that way, helping people find their own why.
Absolutely. That's all it is. Find your own golden thread, find the words that align with you specifically, and then we work the process together.
It's beautiful. I must just tell you that I've had a few healing sessions with Robyn, hands-on healing. She has magical hands. The heat coming from your hands are something that I sometimes think of, Rob. You once did a head massage on my head, and I was not well at the time. And just the way you held my head allowed me to just release so many built-up ancestral pain, and which I'll never forget. You know, going back to, someone has also asked if I'd repeat what I said a while ago about Carolyn Mace. And she spoke about being a woman, and it's on, you can Google it. It's called the fifth car or something like that. Anyway, Carolyn Mace tells a story of this very bad car crash on a highway or somewhere in America. And a woman in the car that was in the crash was leaving her body. She had died, momentarily died. And as she was leaving her body, she felt this incredible light that brought her back and grounded her and brought her back into her body and into her life, into the car where she was then taken off. She was very badly injured, and months later she recalled exactly where this car was, where the light came from. It was the fifth car, I think they said. And she memorized the registration number and got hold of the person and said, I wanted to thank you, where you were saying a prayer for me. And this woman said, yes, she didn't know what else to do. She knew there'd been a very severe accident. She'd heard it on the radio. So she was just putting white light out to the person who was injured. And this was brought her back into her body. We're going to get back to
I've got shivers through my body, Sue,
Absolutely.
with that story.
Thank you, Craig.
Hi there, I'm Benji Schulman. Join me every Monday at 2 o'clock for Studio 972, your favorite Jewish culture and current affairs show.
This is Finding Human with Sue Jackson, only on 101.9 High FM.
Hello, this is Sue Jackson, and I'm back with Robyn Cowan. And I've had a message here asking if you'd please give out some of your contact details, please, Rob.
Yes, of course, Sue. So my email address is my name. So it's robyncowen@gmail.com. And my cell phone number, which you can get me on WhatsApp, is it's obviously +27 84 888 8817. And I'm also on Instagram, Robyn_Cowan.
Okay, great. Now, Rob, you mentioned to me about a digital journal, which I had a look at. It's beautiful. Please just tell me about it.
So I create journals to assist my clients with moving forward. We work together, and then this would be a continuation of the work. So, for example, if I've cleared your home for you, I would then give you this free digital journal to keep the momentum going of this work. So what I was actually thinking is that anyone who is interested in it, that would like to receive this as a free gift from me,
that's
being
wonderful.
on your show, they are more than welcome to send me an email, and I will send them a form, then they can download the digital journal.
Oh, that's beautiful. I was looking through it. It's absolutely beautiful, Rob. There were certain things that you said there. Just let me see here. It says, creating your sanctuary. 7 gentle questions to transform the feeling of your home. A journey of awareness, intention, and peace within your home. A gift from Robyn Cowan. That's beautiful. Robyn, I might add, is also an artist. So she also does energy paintings. What do you call those, Rob? Your paintings?
Oh, they have many names. They have many names, but I love calling them soul portraits or spirit guide drawings. So it's basically just connecting on a very deep level with your energy and bringing your guardian angel through in the form of art.
Oh, and they are magnificent. Rob, I'm going to be told to wrap up shortly, but Carolyn Mace said, each time we choose to enhance our internal power, we limit the authority of the physical world over our lives, our bodies, our health, minds, and spirits. From an energy point of view, every choice that enhances our spirits strengthens our energy field, and the stronger our energy field, the fewer our connections to negative people and experiences. It's so true. Well, how would you like to end, Rob? What would you like to say?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on your show, Sue. I absolutely love chatting to you, and I'm just sending so much love and blessings to the world, to all the people, to all the spaces and the places. And if anybody is needing healing, I do have a healing grid, a healing list. They can send me names, which I will add to the healing grid. And if anybody wants me, they're also welcome to reach out, and I will assist whether in person or online. And I look forward to meeting and greeting many, many more people. So thank you for this opportunity.
That's wonderful, Rob. And when you're up in Johannesburg, we can have coffee, please.
Absolutely, with circling birds above our head.
I was just going to say that you picked it up. I was going to say we'll sit in the exact spot for the birds to find us. Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Craigie, thank you, Makundi, and thank you, Vusi.